Sandra for asking me to come here. When Sandra actually asked me to come, my first question was, why me? I mean, why should I be absolutely here at all? You know? And so I started thinking about all the things that I could teach you, like Docker and Linux servers and programming and libraries and open source. We could talk about licenses. We could talk about Kubernetes and trending things and GPT. And because I know, for some reason or other, I have a mass amount of knowledge in my brain. And so I said, okay, I get it. I get it, I understand why I'm here. But that took me to a thought of saying, okay, what do I teach these people? What do I tell these people? You know? I could teach you something about, I don't know, Docker, for example, how to install a Docker file, to create something. And it's probably going to be totally useless for you. You're not going to need it now. Maybe if you're lucky, you will need it in some company that you land in some years. Maybe not, probably not even. And if you do, probably 2 years from now, what I told you here, you won't remember, and it's changed anyway. So I was asking, what should I tell these people? And due to the particular moment I am living in my life right now, I thought, well, what if I just tell them who I am and why I'm standing here, and see if that can touch your lives enough to make a change, to make something, or some of you take away something valuable that you can remember. So I'm gonna start, and I hope I got it right. You'll let me know at the end if I actually did kind of say that. And this first slide was a kind of that thing. So what can I tell them? It's okay, let's see if I can just be that message coming from the future saying, hey, this is what you needed to know when you were 20, okay? And so I started thinking about this. How do you create your dream? How do you reach that goal? How do you become happy in life? And I landed on that, you know, the YouTube images, and so how am I brainstorming this thing? What am I going to say? I landed on that. And it's on my ass. And it says, your goals and your dreams are within reach. And I said, fuck no. They are not. They are not in reach. They are damn hard to find. They are very hard to get. And you will be very lucky if you manage to get it. Okay? And I'm going to try to explain why I believe this is true. There are many, many reasons for that. I'm going to concentrate on two. Okay? And they're basically summed up in this phrase here. That phrase says, live the life of your dreams. Be brave enough to live the life of your dreams according to your vision and purpose, instead of the expectations of others. Nothing is holding you back except the crap you can't let go. This phrase sounds nice, and read like God says, oh, that's nice. What's really hard here are these three words. Vision, purpose, and expectations of others. These three things are going to define if you ever find that dream, and if you make that dream happen. Vision? What vision? What vision? You're 20 years old. You have no idea where the hell you're going. You're just trying to find a place in the world. Well, surprise, I'm 56 and I'm still the same. I'm still trying to find my vision and where am I supposed to go and what am I supposed to do. So how the hell am I going to find a dream if I don't know where I'm going? If I don't know why I'm here, why I'm trying to get that dream? This is hard. This is very hard. To understand what you want to build, what you want to create, what do you want to give to society, what do you want to give to the people around you, that is hard. That's why it's hard to find a dream. And then this one. This one I'm going to go over there. We're going to concentrate on this one. My journey to actually find this. But this one, that's a killer. That's a killer. I learned that in 1990, more or less. At that moment in time, I was into philosophy, and I was reading a lot of philosophy books and stuff. And I landed on an author, which is Sartre, French philosopher.
And I was reading his theories and his way of living, and he said at one point, you can do whatever you want. I mean, really, you can do whatever you want. And he gave a few examples. And all of a sudden, I understood that shit, he was right. I could do whatever I want. If any of you, right now, wants to get up and go to Paris, you can do that. You get up now, and you start walking. You're gonna have a hell of a hard time. It's gonna rain, you're gonna get sick, you don't know how to eat, it's gonna be pain. But you can get up right now and do that. The only thing holding you back is the expectations of others. What are my parents gonna say? What are my friends gonna say? Oh, I'm gonna be, I don't know, I'm gonna get hurt, somebody's gonna hurt me while I walk down the way. I mean, all of those social conventions, all of those things that they have taught us, they're tying you down. They're limiting your dream. Because if you really want to go walking to Paris, you can, but you have to get rid of all of the ties that are holding you down. Okay? I mean, this is extremely important, especially our parents and our friends. They really stop you from having your dreams. You want your parents to be proud of you. And your parents are proud of you depending on what? On their social mindset that they have, on the mindset that they put into you. I mean, they don't care. 98% of the parents are just happy and proud because you exist. That's all. But no, you put a whole bunch of weight on your mind, thinking that I can't do this or I can't do that because I'm gonna hurt this person, or I'm gonna lose this friend, or I'm gonna do something that society doesn't like. That ties you down immensely. So you have to free yourself. Freeing yourself there means you're gonna hurt people. Because those people are expecting things from you, and you're not gonna give it to them. You're gonna do what you need to do to get that dream, so you're gonna hurt people. Yes, definitely. And you're gonna lose people along the way also. So be careful with this. Be very careful with this. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all. If you wanna live a life, and your dream is aligned with the expectations of others, okay, it's your life, it's your dream, it's your decision. It's good, it's not bad, okay? But if your dream does not align with what other people expect of you, the hell with those people. You go for that dream. And this one, okay. We know one of the factors that is stopping us from getting our dreams, which is ourselves. The other one is, where is my dream? What am I looking for? What do I want to do in life? And this one is hard. I don't know. This one is hard. I don't know where your dream is. I have no idea. Probably most of you don't even know where it is. One of the biggest problems that you have with your dream is that it moves. As you move, as you change, as you evolve, as you grow, as you learn, your dream kind of shifts and moves. In my personal experience, I now know from this point of view of my age that even though my dream has moved as I lived through life, the core of the dream, the core of what I wanted to do has always been the same. So I'm going to walk you through my journey to find my dream, in a hope that it helps you understand maybe where your dream is, okay? Because each and every one of you have a different one. This is me in 1976. This is the first moment that I have a conscious memory of what I wanted to do in life, okay? At this moment in my life, I am reading comic books like crazy. I'm reading everything that falls into my hands. I'm just devouring books and things and comics, especially comic books. Crazy. My mother would take me to the library every other day, and I would sit there and play in the child thing, reading books and comics. And I fell in love with this guy. Fell in love with Batman because Batman is just a mere mortal. But he has perfection, his body and his mind, to a point where he can rival with people like Superman and Wonder Woman. I mean, they're gods. And he's standing next to them and fighting at their level. I mean, wow. But what really caught my attention was the detective. The detective really marveled on the fact that you could look at the world and see the details and understand how somebody vibrates or what and why they're doing something. Just looking and observing, that was marvelous for me. That was something that captivated me. One day, sitting at the librarian came and she said to me, "I see you like to read." I said, "Yes, I do. What?" And he said, "I would like to share this book with you." And she gave me a book. It was about 110 pages or so, but it had basically 10 images in the whole book. You know, typical book where you have text, 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 and then they have an image, and text, 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 and image. And I was kind of, oh, wow. I mean, this is actually, I mean, at that moment, I was always reading more images and text than images. But since I'm a polite, nice guy, I said, yes, thank you, I will read it. And I actually did, because I'm a polite, nice guy, and I didn't want to break my promise, so I took that book home and I started reading. And I couldn't let it go. I could not let that book go. I mean, just page after page. I remember myself lying on the floor, just devouring that thing. It was about a World War I pilot with the planes with the, you know, the bi-wings thing, and he was fighting in the air with other things, and I just, that took me to a whole nother level of reading, and I just kept on devouring books after books until I find, eventually, another great detective, Sherlock Holmes. The logic, the structure of his mind, the way he understood the world, it just marveled me. I mean, it was just me. And eventually, in this mindset and this kind of thing, I was watching television one morning, and I landed on a stupid series like the CSI that was in. And there was this forensic doctor that he was helping the police solve crimes because he was studying the bodies and, you know, the corpse. And I looked at that guy and I saw this one. I said, oh God, I want to do that. That's me. I want to study that. I want to learn. I want to show the detective. I want to get that out of that knowledge that's hidden there. I want to extract that and help people with that knowledge. And that's my first vision of the dream. That's the first time that I actually knew what I wanted to do in life. I wanted to become a forensic doctor to be able to help people unravel things that were hidden. Fast forward, another 10 years. With that mindset, I started studying science and books and reading and math and logic and I don't know, anything that fell into my hands. I mean, except for history was really not my thing, but everything else I just keep on going and going and going. And so I land on my last year of high school, ready to go my last year and go to college, with the mindset of becoming a biochemist. My dream had shifted a little because I fell in love with chemistry. I love the chemistry, the fact that atoms and electrons could mix together in structures and build the world around us was kind of, wow, I want to do that. So I was kind of aligned in that same kind of set. And then my life changed. My father bought me this computer. This was September. And I discovered programming. And I said, wow, I mean, this is incredible. I can talk to a computer, I can talk to this machine and make it do things for me. And it talks back to me and I can, wow, it just blew my mind, totally blew my mind. It blew my mind to a point where I got this at the end of August, September. The exams in December of that year, I flunked them all. I flunked all my subjects except math, because math and me were always friends, and English because, hell, I mean, that wasn't even fair, because, I mean, I was in Spain, I was born in the United States. I was natively talking English for my whole life, so the exams in English in Spain were incredibly ridiculous, okay? So that didn't need to count. So I found almost everything. And that's when I actually found my passion. Not my dream, but the thing that I really like, the purpose. I had the vision. I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to try to help people. I wanted to try to touch people. I didn't know how to do that. And that's when I found the purpose. I found my passion. I found programming. I found computers. So I decided to drop my dream and become a computer scientist. And I learned that passion is one thing, making it happen is another. It is not easy to convert your passion into something valuable, something you can share with other people, something that will actually make a difference. You have to work. You have to work hard. You have to really, really try to make that passion and convert it into something that you can use for you and for yourself. It is not easy. But there I went. I started going to the university, computer science, started working on that. This was 1989, 88. I started a computer science degree at college. I finished my college degree in 1997. It took me 10 years to get the diploma. Okay? Why 10 years? Because it's hard to make that thing go. And I was actually looking for this, not for the degree. I didn't care about the degree. I cared about the knowledge, about science. So what happened was that 2 or 3 years into college, I started looking for work. I landed a few jobs, mostly teaching, and just doing things and following that passion, learning, reading books and operating systems. And I mean, at that point, I knew a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I had studied how operating systems were created, algorithms, programming. I mean, I was just devouring. I mean, all of that means that it's time I don't have for anybody else. I'm fucking alone in the world, mostly. I left most of my friends. My girlfriend is asking me, where the hell are you? I mean, I'm okay. I had time to go out and get drunk, and I mean, it's not terrible, right? I mean, but it really is a big sacrifice, an enormous sacrifice, okay? So in 1992, I landed my first serious program job. And this is where I switched and I understood something. I landed on a company as an internship. They are doing Progress 4GL. Progress is a database management system, or was, I don't know if it exists. And at that point in time, basically didn't even have database management systems. MySQL didn't exist or anything like that. We had a DB4, database 4 or something, just kind of, but basically we were saving our data in flat files, and we managed those flat files ourselves at that moment. So I went to this company, and they have a whole database management system with a whole bunch of concepts like transactions and cursors, and I mean, incredible, but then they take it to another level, and they put a programming language inside. So my programming language lives with my data. It's inside. It gives me all of the tools that I need to create the user interface, all of the business logic, everything tied with my data. It's an incredible and novel concept in my mind. It kind of, wow, this is something. I landed this company, and okay, my boss starts teaching me. I'm sitting there, listening to him talking and telling me how to do these things, how to program in this thing. And while I'm sitting there, there's a bookcase down in the back, and there's this big set of books about Progress 4GL. And it's just sitting there because obviously that, as a company, they bought the license, and when they bought the license, they bought them the whole box with all the books inside, and you know. And it's just sitting there, and okay, so I go, okay, I'm learning, and I'm looking at those books, and nobody's touching them. They're just sitting there. So I say to my boss one day, hey, can I start reading those books? Can I have a look? I mean, And he said, yeah, sure, nobody's looking at them, just take them. I did. I took all of them. I read them all, from the front, from the first page to the last page, all of them. And in a month, 2 months, I was the go-to person for everything. I was the knowledge base in that company. Everybody would come and ask me things and say, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? Not only there, because I was learning also Unix. Linux was just a concept at that moment. I mean, Trollhouse actually sent the email, the post in 1992. So I mean, I was learning Unix at that point. I'm very, very interested in Unix, but I know a lot of DOS. I know a lot about Microsoft Windows, the Yappies, and crazy stuff. And so I was the go-to person for everything. Everybody was coming to me and asking me things, and I was just, oh, I mean, yes, hell yes, this is what I want to do. I want to help people. Yes, this is what I wanted to do. And that's when, not actually that, then, I mean, that was already a point where I could see. But then something happened. One Monday afternoon, because I was going to school in the morning, going there in the afternoon, Jose Maria, one of my coworkers, comes to me and says, hey, Joe, do you know how to do a diff in DOS? And I looked at him, and I said, okay, just another one of the millions of questions I get every day. And I said, yeah, sure. There's this command here. It's very rare. Nobody really knows it. It's fdiff, and you can go there and you can, I get it. It's not as good as the Unix diff, which is much, much better, but it should be enough for you to get, the information that you need about the difference between the two files. And he looks at me and leaves. No, thank you. No interest in me. It just leaves. I said, okay, kind of. Okay. Anyway, I go on with my life. The next day, I go to the office, my boss has a coffee machine, and I go over to the coffee machine. And he said, hey, how are you? I said, good morning, good afternoon. Good afternoon, yes. And he says to me, they told me that you killed Jose Maria yesterday. What do you mean I killed Jose Maria? He says, yeah, you told him that the OS has a command to do diff between files. I said, yeah, it does. And he said, yeah, he had spent all of his weekend creating a program in C to do that because he didn't know. And he had spent the whole Monday morning telling everybody in the office that same question, and everybody would say, no, I don't know how. And he would say, yes, you can use my program, which I did this weekend. And he did that with so much pride. And I stole it from him. I totally killed it from him. I killed it and I didn't even know. I didn't even know. That tortured me the rest of the day, the rest of the week. I said, how stupid can I be? How obnoxious can I be to not recognize that this person didn't want me to answer that? He wanted me to say, why? Why are you saying that? Or something, even if I knew. Play it, make him happy. That's when I realized that my dream was not about being a forensic doctor or about being a biochemist or no. My dream was this. That's what I wanted to do in life. I wanted to be here and touch your lives. This is what I want to do. And I want to do it through my passion, through technology, through many ways. But this is my passion. This is my vision. This is my passion. If you find this, get scared. Okay? 90, or I don't know. I mean, I can imagine the immense majority of people in the world do not have the luck to find this, to find either of them. Much less to actually align them together to become something. This is not easy. But if you find it, you get lucky enough to actually align your dream with your passion, get scared. Get scared because you're going to dedicate your life to it. It's going to drag you into a hole where you just can't let go. And it's going to cost you time, friendships, marriages, people. That's going to take everything away from you. Okay? It's going to give you things. Hell, it's going to give you a lot of things. And it's your dream. But it's going to cost. It's not easy. So, with this in mind, now I know what I want to do. So I go for it. I start studying and reading and trying to build things. And eventually, in 1997, a couple of people believed in me enough to create a company with me. I create this company. It's a mess. We don't make anything. It's been basically a drain hole of money. I mean, it did kind of pay the bills. It's still paying some bills. I mean, it's still alive. But it just didn't work. I just couldn't make it happen. I mean, the idea was to help people through technology. I wanted to create software that would actually help businesses do their business. I wanted to take care of their invoices and their accounting and their workload and kind of help them manage their business while they did their business. Okay, that was actually the goal of this thing. That's what I had in mind. That was incredibly different. I mean, incredibly different. The time was different. My mindset was different. I was younger also. But the real problem was that every company is different. I have, I think the next slide actually is, the type of this one. I met Andrea around there. This is my actual friend and boss now. Anyway, in one of those chats that I did there, I was trying to explain how to create software that really adapted to every company. Because I realized, I learned in those years that every company is different. Even if they're in the same sector, even if they're still selling computers or they're selling, I don't know, windows or carpentry, every carpenter is different. Everybody does it a different way. They have a different way of managing their business. So even if I buy software that's specialized in carpenters, I still have to go there and customize it and get it working for them. It's very, very, very complicated. Because everybody's different. Everybody has a different way of building their business. At this moment, open source isn't a thing at all. I mean, it's just very basically starting to evolve. So I'm alone, totally alone in the world. I'm creating a software, trying to help people, but basically building it on my own. It just doesn't work. So in 2004, open source is starting to be something, and I land on it. vTiger CRM is an open source project. It has a pretty good structure. It was nice. I started reading the code and understanding how it worked and looking at everything inside. I started studying that night in, night out, and just reading everything that was there. And 2 or 3 months in, I land on the vTiger CRM forum. It's an international forum where people ask questions and ask for help, and other people who know the answers answer. And I mean, that was my world. That was me. That was me. I started jumping on all of those lists. Anybody who asked anything at all, I would read the question, I would try to reproduce the problem, I would go into the code, I would find the solution, and I would answer. And I started answering questions at a velocity that nobody had seen on that forum forever. I became the maximum poster on that forum in no time at all. And I was a reference in the vTiger CRM. Simply because I was doing what I like to do, just help people. I was just helping people, and I was learning a hell of a lot of things as I did that. I mean, incredible. I learned how this software worked inside out. And actually started giving me some money because people came to me and said, hey, can you customize this software for my company? I need some adaptions. And I started saying, yeah, sure, I can. And I started selling it, and I still have very good clients from this time. But eventually here, thanks to vTiger, I meet Andrea. Andrea becomes a friend and a co-worker, boss. And he brings me to Tirana for the first time in 2010. Changed my life a lot, actually. I guess we both changed our lives a lot. And the adventure goes on, and I start working. And eventually, vTiger did not want to be an open source project. They were just using that as a marketing scheme. They actually wanted to become an on-demand service, and so they were really neglecting the open source project. They would treat us terrible. We were a very small community of really core committers, and they totally ignored us. They made it really difficult on us. Every new version, they changed everything on us without telling us anything, so we had to construct everything again. It was a pain. It was a pain. And we complained a lot, but they didn't care because their goal was another. So eventually, I thought that it was enough, and I created Corvus. Corvus is a fork of Tirana, because I had been working with Tirana for 10 years at that moment, something like that. And I was ready to take that responsibility and make it an open source project and convert it into what I visioned. What I visioned was a software that I could go to any company, because I'm a businessman and I want to help businesses. I could take that software to any company and rather easily customize it without having to spend too much time nor too much programming effort, because programming is hard, expensive, and you create bugs and you break things, and it's not easy. So I want to make tools that help my implementers and my programmers life as easy as possible, so that we can get to the business and get their business working as fast as possible and as cheap as possible. So we start creating this program. This is actually core. BOS is Business Operating System. That's the concept. Your operating system in your laptop is something you don't even see. You use Word, or you use Open Office, or you use GIMP or Instagram, or whatever you use. You don't know that the operating system is under there. It's actually giving you the tools that you need to be able to do your work. That's what I wanted to do. That software that I could put in a company and have those businessmen do their business and not worry about the details. Okay, that's where the name comes. So with that mindset, we start creating a program that takes a hell of a lot of time, a lot of effort, again, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of people that leave along the road. A lot of people that leave along the road. But the mindset is really, I think, correct. Every time a client asks us for something, we create an artifact system in Corvus that will solve that problem without breaking any of the things that we have, and we keep that there as a configuration tool for the rest of the life of the project, for them and for everybody. We don't just create solutions for that request. We abstract the business problem that this person is asking. I mean, this person has an incredible piece of software in front of them that does hundreds and hundreds of things. And they come and they say, yeah, but it doesn't do this. Because every business is different. Every person is different, and they need something different. So we could just hack our way in and do that. But that's not what we're trying to construct. This person is giving me the opportunity to understand a different business perspective. Something that I had never seen before, something I didn't realize was there, but it's a reality. It's his reality. So what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to create and adapt this software to cover that business request, that business requirement, without breaking all the other requirements that I have at the same time, and give him his solution and give everybody else their solution. That is what we have been doing for the past 10 years, 9. And at this point, I'm going to stop on my journey. And I'm going to show you a little bit of what Corvus is. Basically, because I suppose this is a computer science class kind of thing, and I'm kind of converting it into philosophy TED Talk, okay? So I'm gonna try to show you what Corvus looks like and make it a little bit more technical, okay? And spend some time and see what Corvus actually does. This is the login screen of Corvus. This already tells us something about Corvus.
That means that Corvus has users and it knows how to manage user logins and it knows how to do permissions. So it knows how to distinguish between two different users and show them which. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Parliamentary. Okay, so this is already telling us a lot about Corvus. It's telling us that Corvus knows what users are. Each user has permission systems, so Corvus will be able to tell you to show different data and different requirements to different users. That in itself is a development. I mean, just implementing a permission system in a software is a project in itself. I could go on. There are actually 3 or 4 types of permission systems. We have RBAC, ABAC, and in the ACL one. Corvus does role-based attribute. We are kind of close to ABAC. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of things, and we could go on. We could just do an hour on understanding how permission systems work. Okay. So I'm going to log in as the admin user, so we kind of see everything. Here we can see that we have the typical application kind of view where you have a menu up on top, a global search. This is the dashboard, so you can have a summary of the information that's in the system. That means that here we have concepts. We have business concept. This is a business software, okay? So I don't have things, I mean, it's not a website. I'm not trying to build a content management system or something like that. I'm actually building a business software. So what do I have here? I have things like companies, organizations, and people that work in those organizations, and leads, people I want to sell things to, and I have a calendar to manage my events and my the tasks that I have to do. Actually, I have here in support, I have support tickets, which are things that my clients are asking me to do. And I have to track and understand how much work do I have to send and spend, how much time do I have to spend on these people, how much do I have to invoice them at the end. Is that support ticket covered by a service contract? Do I have projects, bigger projects, project management, the tax, the milestones, reporting, inventory, we have products, we have services, we have invoices, we have all of these business concepts that actually need to be able to manage a business. I mean, that's what we're creating here. We're creating this kind of software. Now, I mean, if we look at any of these, just kind of go in, if we go into organizations, for example, we will see what we call the list view. The list view is a list of all of the organizations I have in my database. In this case, I have 464,000 accounts there. And here I see a summary view of them. Basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns of information. If I click here, I will go to the detail view of that account, where I see all of the information of that account, all of the fields that I need. This account, this company, has concepts that are related with it. So for example, it has invoices and it has people that work in that company. That's here in the more information tab. So I have the contacts that work in this company, the business opportunities that this company has given me, the quotes that I have sent them, the sales order, the invoices. I have all of this information. If I click here, I can actually see the invoices that this company has, which is just one. So, and the contacts that work inside. So basically, we have a way of managing those concepts. The nice part is that if I go to a contact, if I click here, and I go from the organization module to the contacts module, I see basically the same thing. The application is very, very consistent. It looks all very similar. Just that now I'm looking at the contact information, which is different. And here I have things related to the contact. If I click up here, I'll go to the contact list view, which looks very similar to the accounts or organizations is. And the same is valid for all the other modules. We have a very consistent way of managing the information. So once the user gets a hang of it, they know how to do almost everything. But reality is that, okay, well, before that, here we have a whole bunch of things that we can do. For example, you can do mass actions. I can click on these and I can, mass tag them all, tag them. I can send them an SMS, I can send them an email, I can mass edit, so I can actually mass change all the fields. We have a whole bunch of functionality which is common to all of the modules. We can import, export, deduplicate. We have a whole bunch of functionality in there, a lot of functionality in there. But what I would actually want to share is not the UI and the things that we can do, which are menus, but the abstraction level. That's what I want to share with you actually. What I was trying to explain before, when a client comes and asks me something, how do I actually convert that into a request that I can attend to him and not lose everything else? That happens through a series of constructions that we have added to Core Boss to be able to do that. One of them is, for example, if I want to add a field. If I want to add a field, because my contact information, here I'm on the contact, here I have all the fields. If my company, the company I go to, actually needs something, a field that I don't have in the application, I have to give them a way of adding that field without having to program anything. So that's actually what we have here. I can click on this button here, and I get a list of fields that I can add. You can see here I have color fields, date, image fields, relation fields, a whole bunch of fields. I can actually add any field I want here. If I want to add a date field here, I just add the date field. I'll get that field down here, as you can see, and if I go to the contacts module again, create a new contact, I have that date field. So I don't have to program anything. My implementers, my business analysts, if they need a field, they can just come here and add the field. They don't have to talk to a programmer, we don't have to spend time, we don't have to do anything, we just add the field. This field is a totally normal field in the application. You can import it, export it, you can do anything you want with it. The same way I added it, you can hide fields. You can hide fields per user, per profiles. It has a whole bunch of things in there to be able to do that. Most of those things have come from the request of the client, where they say, no, I want this user to be able to see the field. I want this user to be able to edit it, and I want this user to not even be able to see the field. So we have to cater to all of those needs. And that takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of sleepless nights to actually get that right. But this is actually kind of nothing compared to what we can do. Obviously, just like a client needs new fields, they need new objects. There are things that each business have, things that are significant for that client. Maybe they are building windows, or they're building, I don't know, whatever. And for them, a product, which we have, is not enough. They actually want to do something else. And Corbus doesn't have that concept. We have concepts like invoices and sales orders and products and services, but we don't have that concept that you need. So we have to give them a way to actually add new modules. And that's what you can do here in this screen here. You can also do it programming. It's kind of easy, actually, to program them. It's easy to do it here. This will create a new menu entry here, where you will be able to create as many fields as you want on that entity and that object and manage it and relate it with your business. So you can adapt the software to your business at the entity level. What else? Workflows are the way that we actually automate. Obviously, you have to automate things. When the account has, I don't know, not paid invoice in a month, send them an email. That's an automation. And every business has their own automations, their own way of building. Some people send it 20 days or 3 emails when the invoice isn't paid. You escalate the problem. Workflows are gonna permit you to do that without having to program anything. We have a whole bunch of workflows, we can do a whole bunch of things. I mean, you can generate reports, you can send files around, you can update fields so that when you save a record, you update a field. You can do scheduled workflows, so you say, okay, every day, wake up at 2 in the morning and do something. I mean, we have crazy amount of things in there. All of them, you can send WhatsApp messages, you can send notifications, and crazy. And it just keeps on going. Actually, we have a programmer adding a new task right now. These are some of the things we can do. You can add a notification. Notification is an in-app notification, so you can tell somebody, hey, remember to do this. You can tag things. Tags is just like tagging on Instagram, where you can tag a record so you can tie them together. It's a very powerful way of managing non-standard relations. I mean, like I was showing you before, you have an account and you have people that work in the company. That's a standard relation, that's easy. But sometimes you want to relate that account, one contact, and two other concepts, and it doesn't really match. But for you and your business, it does match, so you add a tag on all of them and tie it together, which is a very simple concept, which you all know. Assign things, inventory models, you can create records, you can delete records, you can duplicate, you can generate documentation. That's very, very powerful. So if you want to generate your invoice, obviously you have to generate the invoice with your logo and your format and your company, and all of that can be automated and constructed. I mean, it's a business application, really. Really oriented towards making the life of the businessman as easy as possible. And also the life of the implementer and the software developer, actually the person that has to implement that software in the company. Anyway, let's get to the interesting thing. Okay, here, let's see if this works. Organizations. Another one, because organizations has a lot of people. Right. Yeah. Okay, here we have, it says, I'm showing records 1 to 40 of 464,000. And then a client comes and says, no, I want this particular user not to have 40 records, but to have 20. Because whatever business logic that they have in that business. So I have to do something to actually permit that user to have 20 on their list view without breaking the standard 40, or permitting somebody to have 60 if they want to. So we invented this thing, which is called global variables. What happened actually was that at one point when we started doing this, I mean, we got a lot of experience, we've been doing it for a long time. At one point we did, okay, they need 20, then we're gonna put it in a configuration file. Go to the file system in the programming language, you add their list view number of records, and you put 20. And then they come and say, yeah, but I didn't want 20 for everybody, I wanted 20 just for this guy, and 40 for the other guy. And so the configuration file gets complicated because the users are dynamic, so you're like, okay. So we came and we created this thing here, which is global. Global variables are just a normal module, like any other module, like the ones I've been showing you. It has the list view, detail view, it does everything just like the other ones. So I can come here and create whatever I want. In this case, I have a list of things that I can configure. So for example, if I scroll down here, I have list view, and I have page size. And I can say, okay, yeah, I want 20 records instead of the standard 40. And I'm going to set that as a default. And I'm going to go back to accounts. And now I should capture 26 instead of 40. That's kind of that easy. This concept, which is extremely simple, took us a while to get to, but it permits us to do anything we want in the application. What's really nice is, for example, we had a client at one point that said, hey, when you land on a record, on the detail view, it says this here, updated 2,602 days ago. And they said, I don't like that message there. I don't want to see that message there. And you say, oh, come on, seriously? I mean, who cares? It's just a message there. Just ignore it. No, I don't want to see it. Okay, not a problem. We create a global variable. We set the global variable default value to show that message. So we update all of the applications in the world And nobody even knows that you have a global variable that can turn that off. And then we go to that client's install and we set the global variable to not show that message. Everybody else in the world sees it, no problem. He doesn't. That's the concept of a global variable. That's actually a true case that we actually ran into. If you can actually go and see the global variable and find it. But I trust that you kind of get the idea. Notice here that this global variable that I created here, I set it as the default. That means that it's affecting all of the modules. But actually I have the modules here, so I can select these two, for example, and not set it as default. And all of a sudden, what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna get 40 on the organization, but 20 on those two. So the global variable is not limited by the configuration file that we just had. Actually, now I can define variables and configuration options per module or even per user. So I can make it affect just one user if I want to, or a role of users. All of the people that are in this role see that configuration. And I can do that simply creating a record here. I mean, I don't have to edit any PHP files or anything. It's just create this record. So you can imagine that means that our code base is all full of this. The code base, if you actually go to the CoreBoss PHP files, and you see the point where it's actually trying to find how many records it has to show on screen, it has a call that says get variable, get global variable, list view, application list view page size for this user in this module. And it comes here, it has a whole escalation rule, a base of code that actually escalates and runs through the different types of global variable records you have and gives you back the correct value for that user in that module at that moment. This has been going on for years now, and this is the list of global variables that we have. This is the kind of things that you can already configure in CoreBoss at this point. So you can kind of get an idea of how customizable this piece of software is, okay? And this is just one of the artifacts that we actually have in there, okay? This one is a nice one, easy to understand and powerful. But we have other ones. For example, we have business actions. If I come over here and we go back to the context one, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons here. Send mail, mass tag, send messages, okay? And my client says, no, I don't want to be able to send mails from you. I don't want to do that. I don't want my users to send me mails from you. Okay. So we come over here to the business action module, and we see a module, just like how the other modules. We have the list view and the detail view, and we have a whole bunch of pages. And here, I should be able to search for mail. Actually, we should do the contacts. Let's do contacts. Probably better. Contacts, and we do the module list, and we search. And it says that the contact module has these business actions. It has a send SMS button. It has an add event button. It has a view history. Different places, the type of the button is actually the one that you're looking for in this case, because we can have different buttons on different views in different places. In this case, I wanted to get rid of the mail one, and it should be this one. It's on the list view. It has this label. Obviously, CoreBoss is multi-language. Everything is translatable, and you have I don't know 10 languages supported or something like that. So everything is translatable into any language you want. You even have Albanian, even though it's officially not released. So if I come here to this record, which is just a normal CoreBoss record, and I say, no, this is not active anymore, and we reload the contacts screen, that button is not there. So it's that easy to actually customize the screen and the actions that they can do. But just like I took it off, I can add more buttons. I can actually plug into all of the functionality that CoreBoss has. I mean, we can do a mass action here that launches a workflow. So my business analyst can talk to the business owner, and the business owner can say, look, I want to be able to update this field on demand massively. Okay, they go. We have predefined set of instructions on how to create a business action that will add a button there to launch a workflow. The workflow will update the fields for that business requirement. They don't have to program anything at all. Okay? Then we have, a whole bunch of, business actions are really complex, not just buttons. You can have widgets that do actions. For example, I think we have this one activated actually. Yeah, see this box here? This box here is actually a widget, and that's a business action. That's activated through a business action. And we have a whole set of widgets that do a whole bunch of magic, a whole bunch of things. Okay, I'm gonna go over the business maps really quick. And there was another concept I wanted to share. Anyway, business maps is when a global variable isn't enough, when you actually have a whole set of parameters and logic and things that you need to do, and a global variable, which usually is a 1, 0, or 3, 4 value kind of thing, which just kind of turns something on or off, isn't enough. So we have business actions that can do calculations. For example, this one is doing employee plus 10. It's an expression which is employees plus 10. And that's kind of nice because when the business requirement comes to the analyst, and the guy says, I need to do this when the number of employees of the company is whatever I write plus 10. Okay? What happens is that usually, or what we used to do, is that you go to the code, you add the rule there with the employees plus 10, and then you go into business, you go into production, and 10 days later, the guy says, no, it's not 10, it's 12, or it's 22. So what do? You call the program. You go to the code, find the code. Where is it? They make a mistake, they break the code, and it gets all messy. Okay. So what did we do? We abstract the problem. We do what we always do. We abstract that issue because it's a reality, things change. So we create this map with the rule. And then what we, in the code, what we do is that we call the map. It says, execute this map and give me the result. I don't care if it's 10, 20, or 200, I don't care. Just I call and the rule will be here. If the rule changes, you come here, you edit the record, you change the rule. I don't care, the code is the same. I don't touch I don't call the programmer, I don't break anything. Okay? We have a whole bunch of business maps, some of them are really complex. One of the one that's really nice, this one is really important, but I'm looking for the field dependency ones. Validations is wonderful. Actually, we should look at that online, so you get an idea of what they do. Mapping, okay, I don't have any. Let's have a quick look. Let's look at the validation map and the field dependency map. Obviously, every company has their own validation rules. They're going to tell you, that when an account or a contact is created, they want to make the email mandatory, or they want to have a number of telephone in a certain format or something. Every company has something different. So those rules are defined here in this map. Basically, you say, okay, on this module, for this field, I want to apply these restrictions. And those restrictions can be if it's required, if it's equals, if it's different, if it's accepted, if it's a checkbox, if it's a number, if it's an integer, if it's all named, if it's big or small, and great or not. As if all of this list wasn't enough, at the end, we still go and say, okay, custom function. Go ahead, define a business action that adds some JavaScript and defines a function, and you call your function because you have some extreme point of logic that we don't even have covered in all of this that's up there. We still leave the door open so that you can even add your own code and your own validation if you need to. And the field dependencies is similar. Basically, it's when this field changes, change these other fields. Okay, that's typical. Usually. And I'm not going to make it any longer. That's basically what I wanted to show you, because I wanted to transmit the idea of how complex it actually is to create a piece of software that can adapt to any company. We've been doing this for 20 some odd years now. We have a very, very open and powerful system. And yet every day we have programmers adding code here and changing things and making things better, hopefully. It's very hard. It's very, very hard. It seems kind of counterintuitive. You thought, I kind of thought that, actually, when I was in 2000, when I was in the 2000s, 2005, 2010 or so, I actually believed that I was gonna finish one day, that I would actually finish developing the software, I would actually have a software that I could use anywhere. Now I totally know that that's never gonna happen. I'm just gonna keep on developing until the day I die or the program dies or something. So it's really hard because every company is different, every person is different, and even with a very incredibly customizable piece of software, you still have to do a lot. Okay, so back to my dream, back to the conversation that we were having before. I'm almost finished. Okay, 2023. Fast forward today. Why am I here? Why am I here? Actually, life has changed a lot in the last years for me. At a personal level, a lot of things have happened. I dedicated way too much time to my passion and my dreams, and I lost a lot of people that I shouldn't have lost through the journey up to here. And some of those people hurt, actually, a lot. I lost a lot of loves in my life. This one among them. Basically, 2023 has brought to me a requirement where this open source project, which I started in 2014, and I put on GitHub and I shared with the world, because I wanted to share this project with the world, has to become a closed project for some business project, business requirements and life. So I have to close this software. I did that in February. It's not an open source project anymore. It's closed, which means that it belongs to a company. And that company is not mine. I had to sell it or give it away, or I don't know, whatever. Thing is that this piece of software, which is one of the loves of my life, has left. And it's not the only love of my life that has left, but anyway. So I'm kind of at a point in my life where we said, okay, yes. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have found my dream, to understand that it's in front of me and see it and actually grasp it. I was lucky enough to find my passion and follow it and convert it into something that is actually something I can do and share with the world. And I aligned those two things in a way that modified my life immensely. The question is, was it worth it? Was it actually worth all the effort, all the nights, all the people that lost, all the people that have suffered because of my sacrifice, my will to follow that dream? Will your dream and your effort be worth it? I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to answer if your path will be worth it or not. That's something you will have to define. I can totally answer if it was worth it for me, and I will. But what I want to say before I do answer is that whatever you do, whatever you decide to do, if you want to follow that dream or find an easier dream that doesn't cost so much, because there are, I mean, you can totally align your dream with the expectations of the people around you, and that will make your life a lot easier. And it's not a bad solution. I mean, it's good if you want that.
In the end, you have to decide if you like it or not, if it was good enough or not. I personally, my point of view, and answering my question, is that hell yes. Hell yes, it was worth it. And it wasn't worth it because of this piece of software. It was just a piece of software. I'm not here for the software. I'm not here for the money, which I don't have. We don't have money. No, that wasn't about that. The whole point of my dream, the whole point of my vision was to be here in front of you today and make your lives a little bit different. Actually, make you think about all of the magical, wonderful, incredible things that you can do. You have an immense opportunity and potential, all of you. Some will be better, some will be worse, some will be different, I don't know, whatever. But all of you have incredible potential, and you can make that happen if you want it to happen. It's not easy, it's not gonna be fun all the time, it's gonna be fun sometimes. Life is definitely worth living, and I am incredibly honored and happy to be here and touch your lives. That is what I have, my dream, that is what I have been doing during these 30 years that I just summarized. Touching people's lives, making them hopefully shine, grow, be better, whatever better means. Every moment you spend here is worth spending. Our trip on this rock is totally, totally worth it. Every damn second. The good ones, the bad ones. So enjoy it, wherever it takes you. Thank you.